Can the LEKATO Tank G multi-effects unit keep up with the big boys? Today we're going to find out in our budget gear review. Stay tuned. Hey folks, welcome back to Addicted to Gear. You know, I've reviewed my fair share of budget guitar gear on this channel over the years. Let's be honest, sometimes budget friendly just means good luck getting a decent tone out of that thing. But today we're looking at the LEKATO Tank G guitar effects processor, which claims to pack in a ton of features for a fraction of the cost of some of those big name multi-effects units out there. So we're going to find out whether or not this thing is a hidden gem or just another one of those you get what you pay for scenarios. I'm very optimistic that I will be impressed, but I've been disappointed before. There's only one real way to find out. We have to plug it in, put it through its paces, and see whether or not it's a keeper or if it's heading straight into the box of regretful purchases. Now, before we get into the sound samples, I want to talk about first impressions because first impressions count. When I took it out of the box, I have to say, I felt like, this unit is not bad. The black anodized metal housing makes it look a lot more premium than I expected. You know, the unit is very budget friendly in terms of cost, so I was expecting something a little lighter and cheaper looking. But there's no plastic toy vibes here except for the knobs. But of course, with all of the cool LED lights on the knobs and all of the functionality built in with that, it kind of makes up for the plastic that they're using there. Now, the unit works off of battery power. It has a built-in lithium battery. So as you can see, there's no wires. It's completely wireless at the moment, but more on that in just a minute. The unit does have bright knobs and switches here, very visible when you hit them. And it also has a very bright display, albeit very simple. It only can display one character here, but it's large and it's bright, so there should be no issues using this unit on stage or in low light scenarios. You will clearly be able to see what you're doing. Now, after using the unit for a little while, I can clearly see that LEKATO isn't just throwing in random effects and calling it a day. They actually spend some time working out some solid functionality here. The unit does come with 36 customizable presets across 9 banks, each with 4 different effects that can be accessed with the foot switches here. So there's a lot of tone options for a pedal that costs less than a boutique overdrive, heck, a regular overdrive even. Now, I like some of the effects that they built into the unit, including the noise gate, because let's be real, sometimes when we're looking at budget units, you know, a good noise gate can be very helpful in certain situations. It also has 9 amp models ranging from clean to dirty, so you can cover a lot of tonal ground with the built-in amp models in this unit. It also has 3 modulation effects: chorus, phaser, tremolo, because your tone always needs some of that 80s flair, and you have it in spades in this unit. And it also has 3 delay types: analog, tape, and dual, because no solo is complete without some sort of delay abuse, in my opinion. It also comes complete with 3 reverb types, something called cloud, which I think is kind of perfect for when you want to sound like you're playing in a cave, room, and spring. Last but not least, it has 8 IR cabinets, and yes, you can load your own third-party IRs, which is a big deal because sometimes, you know, the stock IRs might not necessarily do it for you, so it's nice to have the option to install some of your own. In terms of navigation, quite simple. Bank up, bank down is just as simple as clicking the right or left button here. You can switch between all of the patches and should be very easy to do, pretty simple. Even if your hand-eye coordination is not great, it's pretty obvious what you need to do. Now, one thing that I did not expect is that the LEKATO unit also comes with an app. that can do some really cool stuff. You can use the app to edit, exchange and share, or import and export your presets. You can load or delete the IR files that you want to use, because we all know sometimes those stock cabinet IRs sometimes sound less than desirable. So it's nice to be able to use your own. And of course, you can restore the factory settings, handy for when you eventually mess up your settings and you want to try and get back to those perfect factory tones. Very easy to do with the app. No multi-effects unit would be complete without a built-in tuner, and this unit also has that. I'll show you how it works very quickly just by plugging in my guitar here. All you need to do is hit the two buttons right there and you're in tuner mode. And when you're tuning, check out the lights. They act as a guide to tell you whether your note is sharp and flat, and when it's in the center, you're good to go. So there's no real need to try and find that cheap clip-on tuner that you probably broke or lost a couple of weeks back. It's all built right into the unit, and you're good to go whenever you need it. Another surprising feature of the unit is the fact that it has Bluetooth connectivity built in, so you can play along with your favorite backing tracks wirelessly, or just pretend you're practicing when you're really just scrolling through Instagram. And how you connect to the Bluetooth or turn it on is just by hitting the two center buttons at the same time, holding them for about 3 seconds. The little light lights up, flashing there, telling you it's ready. And in pairing mode, all you got to do at that point is go to your phone and pair with the device, and you'll be able to listen to all your favorite backing tracks and play around with your songs while you're using the unit. So it actually makes it a practice tool, in my opinion, if you want to practice quietly. I was also quite impressed by the solid connectivity options for a budget unit like this. It has everything that you would basically need, including an XLR output, because why not? Direct into your PA system, no problem. Plug it in right there on the side. Obviously, it has a headphone jack for when your bandmates have had enough of your experimental tones and you just want to be able to quiet things down and listen to your playing, in a solo type of environment, so that there's no criticisms. Obviously, there's also an audio out mini jack right beside the phone jack, and that will allow you to basically connect the unit for quick recording sessions without needing a full interface. USB-C for PC recording, firmware updates, charging the battery, and yeah, you actually need to update your pedal now. Welcome to the future, but it's quite easy to do through USB. The in and out, and obviously the power switch right here. And they also have a little LEKATO logo here that lights up when you turn the unit on and off. Pretty cool. All right, we got through all of the technical information. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's listen to some sound clips. I'm going to plug in my guitar through the unit. We're going to record the factory patches. I'm not going to edit them in any way, so you can hear what the unit sounds like out of the box, and you can decide for yourself whether or not it's the type of sound you're looking for. Let's do it. All right, now we're going to be playing through this guitar, which is a Squier Contemporary with humbuckers. I'm going to turn on the unit, and we're going to listen to a few of the stock sounds that come preloaded with this guy. You'll see when I turn it on, it goes through a whole sequence, basically a check, and then you'll notice that it's on bank number 2. That's because it saves the bank that I was previously on the last time I was using the unit. So that's a cool feature. We're going to tune up the guitar real quick. We're going to do that just by holding down the 2 buttons and then tuning, just to make sure that we are in the ballpark. I do like the way the unit keeps the lights on when you're tuning, and it uses it as a guide. So that is really cool. I really kind of an innovative way of maximizing what you can do with this little unit. So let's bank down. We'll go down to bank number 1, patch number 1 here, and we'll hear what that sounds like. Kind of a edge of breakup sound. Kind of like it. Now, you'll notice that the reverb sounds quite natural and nice, and that is one of the things that is a standout for me on some of the more affordable units. Their reverbs are not always great, but this one has a really nice tail to it. Fades out really nice. All right, let's go to the next sound here. This one has modulation engaged, so you'll hear that in the background. And there's a lot of different variations of these modulation effects that can be had with the unit. You'll maybe hear a few more as we go through some of the sound samples. A very nice, kind of like a sparkle reverb, or one of those really nice reverbs that just keeps on going. Sounds really good to me. Let's carry on. This one sounds very different. It's a lot darker, and it's probably due to the IRs that they're using on this particular sound or patch. I would normally lighten that up by putting more treble on that sound and reducing some of the bass, but you get the idea of what different variations of tones this thing can offer. Let's carry on. Okay, here we have like a kind of like one of those kind of a phasey sound. So you can hear that some of the modulation sound pretty decent. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to sound as good as they do, but they sound relatively good here. Another use of modulation on that particular patch, which is pretty cool. Let's move on to, I would say, let's try and bank up here. Try this one. Nice use of delay and a little bit of reverb. Again, more of a darker tone on this one. They're not all dark like this, but you can tweak to your desire and make them better than what you're seeing and hearing here. But, you know, sometimes the factory defaults require just a little bit of love, a little bit of TLC here. Let's patch up to this one here. So this one has kind of a rotary or some kind of tremolo on it. Very cool. Edge of breakup. More of a lead tone here. Not bad. All right, let's try something clean again. The fade on the reverb. Very nice. More of a crunch, kind of a... That'll get you in the ballpark. This sounds more like my Princeton, I'm gonna say. Nice to have a really a nice selection of clean sounds, and I think this one kind of gets you there. Of course, it's always nice to have something a little bit more in that big lead sound. have it, guys. Just a couple of flavors that you can get out of the LEKATO Tank G. Now, the unit comes with 9 amp models and 8 cabinet IRs covering a decent range of tones. Some are better than others, obviously, but loading your own IRs makes a huge difference. For the reverb and delays, honestly, they're not that bad. I've heard worse. I think the tape delay and cloud reverb actually sound lush. Some of the modulation effects tend to do the job, but they do lean a little bit more towards the digital side of things. But hey, I've heard worse pedals that cost at least twice as much as this one. So, take that with a grain of salt. I really think where this unit shines is in its portability. Holding the unit, you can see just how small it is. You can easily take this for a run and gun situation. And the fact that the onboard battery lasts 10 to 12 hours means that, you can take this anywhere you want to go without necessarily having to worry about a plug. I mean, 10 to 12 hours of battery life is quite substantial. Most current bands today don't even last that long before breaking up, so I think you have quite a bit of juice on tap if you need it. The fact that it's compact and lightweight is a plus for me. This thing could fit easily in your guitar case. You can throw it in there and go. I've tried it fits. A lot of other units, you can't do that. And it's perfect for travel, for practice, those last minute, hey, bring a pedal board, to the gig, and you don't necessarily want to lug around something heavy. Heck, you could almost put this in your back pocket. But where it really shines, in my opinion, is for silent practice, because not everyone in your house wants to hear you play the same riff 47 times. And it's great to have a budget solution for that, where you can plug it in to your guitar through your headphones, play your backing tracks, and have enough effects and features so you don't get bored with the sounds. So let's talk a little bit about what can make the unit better, and this specifically goes out to the people over at LEKATO in case they want to make another version, maybe version 2 of the unit. What I was really disappointed with is the fact that the unit does not have a built-in looper, which is a shame because that would have made it an even better practice tool. I love using a looper, especially when I'm practicing things. Just throwing down a few chords and playing around with it is very helpful, so I was a little disappointed in that. Some amp models sound a little bit too digital. Not the worst that I've heard, but definitely not on the level of a Kemper or a Fractal. But of course, you're talking about a unit that costs a fraction of the costs of those units. You can't really compare. Not a ton of deep editing options, so if you're a tone tweaker like I am, you may find it a little limiting, but if you're the type of person that just wants to plug in and play, then that won't really be anything to worry about for you. So can the LEKATO Tank G multi-effect unit hold its own against the big names? Look, if you're expecting a $100 pedal to replace your Kemper, not gonna happen. You might want to also believe in unicorns, but let's get realistic here. But for a budget-friendly all-in-one pedal that actually sounds good, has solid connectivity, Bluetooth, IR loading, this thing is a steal for the price. I definitely think you would want to have one of these, even if it just comes to using it as a basic practice tool. So if you've tried the LEKATO Tank G for yourself, I want to hear from you. If you have another favorite budget multi-effects unit that you'd like me to try and review on the channel, please let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to do so if I can. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep on rocking, guys. I'm gonna go play this thing.